Roll.
Commissioner Ryan,
Present.
Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner Blauer,
Here.
Commissioner Jewell,
Here.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins,
Here.
Commissioner Sorensen,
Here.
Commissioner Jordan,
Here.
Commissioner Wesley.
Here, we have a quorum. So glad to hear from all of you. At this time, I'm going to call on Attorney Thompson to read the Senate Bill 1108, the revision of the Open Meetings Act.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize in advance if you hear one of my dogs.
Okay.
So here's the statement regarding the amendment to the Open Meetings Act. All boards and commissions must adhere to all laws established under the Michigan compiled laws and in accordance with the revisions of the Open Meetings Act adopted in Senate Bill 1108 as passed on October 13th, 2020 and signed into law on October 16th, 2020. A public announcement shall be made by each member who is attending the meeting remotely that he or she is in fact attending the meeting remotely, and except for those in military service, stating his or her physical location. And Bill, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay. Commissioner Ryan, are you attending the meeting remotely?
Yes, I'm attending the meeting remotely in the city of Flint, Michigan.
Commissioner Campbell, are you attending the meeting remotely?
Yes, I'm attending the meeting remotely in the city of Flint, Genesee County.
Commissioner Blauer,
I am also attending remotely for my residence in Flint, Michigan, Genesee County.
Commissioner Jewell,
Yes, I'm attending the meeting remotely. Flint, Michigan, Genesee County. Flint, Genesee County, and Michigan.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins,
Yes, I'm attending the meeting remotely here at my residence in Flint.
Commissioner Sorensen,
I am remote as well. I am downtown Flint, Genesee County.
Commissioner Jordan,
I'm attending remotely from Flint, Michigan.
Commissioner Wesley.
I'm attending remotely, Genesee County, Flint, Michigan. And I think that satisfies Senate Bill 1108. The next item on our agenda is adoption. Are any additions or changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jordan. I would just request under old business to have an update on I-475.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell.
Okay.
Under minutes of previous meetings, status of the November 4th, 2020 special meeting.
Okay. Any other additions or changes to the agenda?
This is Commissioner Ryan. I'd like to note their public hearing PC 2388 Green Galaxy Net had been canceled by the city, which I know you're aware of.
Yeah, we will call, when we get there, we will make that announcement, Commissioner Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Any other additions? Yeah.
Commissioner Wesley, this is Suzanne. I just point of clarification. Commissioner Jewell just said November 4th, 2020 special meeting. Is that the date that he meant? November? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I apologize.
Yeah, that's all right. It was only last week.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize.
Any other additions or changes to the agenda? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
This is Commissioner Jewell. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as noted.
Commissioner Jordan, support.
It's moved and properly supported that the minutes be approved with the additions.
Well, that would be the agenda is approved.
Agenda,
The agenda, what did I say?
minutes.
Okay, the agenda will be approved as amended. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Commissioner Jewell, you was out of tune. You supposed to be in harmony. It's-
Oh, sorry, I got carried away
All
there.
right. Opposers have the same rights? Any abstentions? Okay. Hearing none, the minutes of, not the agenda has been approved. Next will be the minutes of October 27, 2020.
This is Commissioner Jewell, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Jewell.
And yeah, I have a number of items. If we take a look at the minutes of October the 27th, on page 1, under the section of additions, changes to the agenda, we need to add that we moved that PC 20-381 regarding a vacation of continuation, PC 20-385, which was a vacation, PC 20-386, and PC 20-387 were all moved to H under public hearings. I also have on page 2, if you go down to the third paragraph, and this is just a question of clarification from Corey. Corey said, as long as we're not meeting with more than a quorum, it's not a violation of the Open Meetings Act. And that was when we were getting clarification of us as members sending questions and concerns to staff. So I just, which was noted in the next 2 sentences, but I was just trying to get a clarification from Corey's statement.
I'm sorry, what do you want on clarification on?
Yeah.
It's the third paragraph down.
Uh-huh.
And it says Corey Christensen said, as long as we're not meeting with more than a quorum, it's not a violation of the Open Meetings Act. And the question I have, was he making that in reference that we were asking individually of staff for follow-up or in questions?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So that handles that question. If you go to page 5, and if you go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8th paragraph or segment down, the spelling for Mr. It's listed as Bill Winiarski. It's actually William Winiarski. Winiarski. That's William Winiarski.
W-N-I?
Yeah, W-I-N-I-A-R-S-K-R-I. W-I-N-I-A-R-S-K-I.
Okay.
And that's noted throughout, you'll notice is the misspelling. I also have on page 7, if you go down 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 4th paragraph, it states Miss Wilcox said they have a draft master plan. I think that should read they have a draft PARK, P-A-R-K master plan.
Draft what?
Park, P-A-R-K, for the parks.
Parks.
Not the City of Flint master plan, but a park master plan.
Okay.
Then if you go to on that same page 7, where it says resolution, where it says none, that's incorrect because we had changed the agenda where the first section where it says bylaws committee, that whole section goes under resolutions. And then if you go to the top of page 8, where we're still talking about the bylaws, it says Commissioner Jewell made a motion to add bylaws under resolutions, and we should add at the next regular scheduled meeting, November 10th. So again, it should read after resolutions at the next regular scheduled meeting, November 10th. Additionally, at the end of that sentence and at the end of that section, we should have a motion was made by me and seconded by Mr. Ryan, and it was carried, but it's not listed. So there needs to be a listing as we've normally done, M/S, Jewell, Ryan, and the motion was carried. Additionally, on page 8, if you go to the next section where it makes reference to the Planning Commission membership roster, the first sentence across says Ms. Wilcox said she'd reach out to the city clerk's office. She has a meeting on Friday the 14th. I have no reference of what Friday the 14th that is. Hello?
Commissioner Wesley,
Yeah.
this is Bill for clarification. Commissioner Jewell, if you don't mind, what are you on page 8 again, and what paragraph are you?
I'm on page 8, third item down, where it says status of Planning Commission membership roster. And the first sentence reads, Miss Wilcox said she reached out to the city clerk's office. She has a meeting on Friday 14th.
Understood. Thank you.
So I'm asking for
To clarify, this is Suzanne for purposes of the record. The meeting is this Friday, November 14th.
Or the 13th, right?
I'm sorry, 13th. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I knew it was in November, but I couldn't figure out. Okay, so that'd be November the 13th. Also, in that same paragraph, if you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the 8th line, where it starts in the city's passion, I think that should probably read in the city's CITY' possession, not passion, but possession. City's possession. And then if you go down to the end of that paragraph before orientation booklet, the last sentence reads, Commissioner Wesley said, not having the roster doesn't mean we're not taking care of business. And in checking my notes, I think it would be appropriate to add, Commissioner Jewell noted that his inquiry focused on our respective responsibilities. Commissioner Jewell noted that his inquiry focused on our respective responsibilities. I think the next sentence, which was something I also stated, was he also stated that the city council had acted on Commissioner Cook, Hawkins, Sorensen, Wesley, and his appointments prior to the original request for an updated roster. So that other sentence, which I also stated, he also stated that the city council had acted on Commissioner Cook, Hawkins, Sorensen, Wesley, and his appointment prior to the original request for an updated roster. Then, if we're still on page 8, if you move down the last paragraph where it says I-475, before that, it should be listed as new business. Should be listed as new business. And then, and I'm going to defer to Commissioner Jordan on this one, because if you go to page 9, the second paragraph, the third line, and Commissioner Jordan, I wasn't quite sure, it said, Commissioner Jordan, people involved in the process and chat were asking if.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Jewell. If it's okay with the chair, I can pick up regarding the 475 comments just to clarify.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I actually would like to start in the first paragraph under I-475. That's on page 8 toward the bottom there. The last sentence of that currently reads, Commissioner Jordan said she felt the Planning Commission should have the opportunity to have the presented to them. I think what I was trying to convey was that I felt the Planning Commission should be made aware of such plans before it gets to that stage of planning. Although I think that's well expressed later on in that section, so I think that sentence could be taken out and it would still be covered in the following paragraph. In terms of the paragraph that Commissioner Jewell was just referencing, that's the first full paragraph on page 9. And I think that third sentence should say Commissioner Jordan reported that people in the chat asked to know if the planning department knew about this and how it is connected to the master plan. So in other words, I was reporting that the people via the chat function were inquiring about whether this was connected to the City of Flint's planning department and the master plan.
Okay. Commissioner Jordan, if it's okay if I can switch back.
That's what I had, so feel free.
Okay. We're still on page 9. If we go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth paragraph, and the last sentence says, Commissioner Jewell said his intent is purely a recommendation of communication. That should be recommendation for, F-O-R, communication. For communication.
Where you at again?
Then if you, last sentence, Commissioner Jewell said his intent is purely a recommendation for communication, not of
Is that
communication.
on page 8, Rob?
That's on page 9.
9, okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth block of the fourth paragraph down.
Okay.
Last sentence, last line. Instead of recommendation of communication, it's recommendation for communication.
Okay.
And And Mr. Chair, while you're on, if you go to the next paragraph, 1, 2, 3, the third line down, where it says I-474, it should say I-475.
Okay.
And then, Mr. Chair, you have on page 9 where it says new business / adjourned, where it says none. We've already moved that up to the beginning of that section as previously noted. So Mr. Chair, those were the items that I had for the minutes of the 27th.
Are there any more additions or corrections to the minutes of October 27th?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell, on page 2, under roll call, I should be listed as absent.
On page 2.
Page 2, roll call. I should be listed as absent right under Commissioner Ryan.
Well, on the front of October 27th, you are listed as absent.
However, I know that, but if you also look at that, the other 2 commissioners are listed also, but they're also listed here. Hawkins and Sorensen.
Okay, but I'm.
Mr. Chair, I think the point being made is that was the remote
Right.
meeting
Okay.
call in.
Oh, on the remote meeting.
Yeah. So that's at the bottom of page 2. So that's just a clarification that Commissioner Campbell was also absent.
We need to add you to that list, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Under Commissioner Ryan.
All right. Okay, any other additions or changes to the agenda? I mean, to the minutes, I'm sorry. Are there any additions or any other additions or changes to the agenda of October 27th, 2020?
To the minutes of.
To the minutes
Right.
of October 27th, 2020. I'm looking at it and saying one thing and head is someplace else. Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October 27th, 2020.
This is Commissioner Jewell. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of October 27th, 2020 as corrected and noted.
Commissioner Ryan, support.
It's been moved and properly supported. For approval, roll.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Abstain.
Commissioner Blauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Jewell,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins,
Abstain from it.
Commissioner Sorensen,
Abstaining.
Commissioner Jordan.
Yes.
Commissioner Wesley?
Commissioner Wesley, sorry.
Yes. The minutes of October 27th have been approved. The question was asked, the status of the November 4, 2020 special meeting minutes. I think those, go, yes.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Jewell, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to have them listed on our agenda, and it appears that since we don't have them, that those be presented at our next regularly scheduled meeting, which I think is November the 24th.
Okay. You want that on our next agenda for that?
Yeah, I think it'd be appropriate for you as the chair to be able just to make the ruling that since we not have them and that meeting was held, that they be presented at the November 24th meeting.
So noted. Next item on our agenda is the public forum. The public is invited to take part on anything appearing on our agenda this evening. For the public information, in the public hearing, we have PC 2388 is going to be postponed at the request of the city. However, if you wish to make comment on that, your comment will be taken into consideration and held for the time when that public hearing is set on our agenda. Is there anyone in the public wishing to address the commission? Anyone in the public wishing to address the commission? KZ, do you have anyone on the line?
There are none.
Beg pardon?
There's no one.
Okay. Anyone in the public wishing to address the commission? That portion of the public forum is now closed. Next item on our agenda is site plan review, SPR 2937, Ashland Furniture, J&C Group, requesting a site plan review at 3701 Lapeer Road, PID 4116401015. Is the applicant present?
I'm the applicant on behalf of JNS. My name is Omar Razak with the Mass Engineering and Contracting. Also, we have with us the architect on the job, Mr. Stuart J. Fine.
Mr. Razak, as it was, can you
Yes.
spell your last name for me, please?
Razzak.
Okay. And the other gentleman, the architect, his name is?
Stuart Fine, F-I-N-E. F like in Frank, I-N-E.
Okay, Mr. Fine.
How are you?
Mighty fine. Okay. Tell us about your site plan.
Well, it's an existing property. The building was originally a Target store. They vacated the property probably around 10 years ago. And Ashley Furniture is proposing to use this facility for storage or warehousing and distribution, and also as a retail merchandising facility. They've already started upgrading the property. They've redone the parking lot and restriped it, and the building has been repainted, and it looks really nice on the outside now. It's all cleaned up. Hopefully the rest of the center will be cleaned up too. That's pretty much it. The site plan is showing the existing conditions of the site, including lighting, drainage, the topography, which nothing has been changed. Everything is remaining the same.
Okay. Questions from the commission to the applicant?
So Wesley, I have a couple questions.
Okay,
This is for
Commissioner Jordan.
So one of the questions that I have is the application references the need for a special use permit around warehousing. Could you please speak to that?
So the owner wants to use part of this facility as warehousing. He has another store out on Linden Road across from the Genesee Valley Mall. And so he wants to service these two stores from this because he has enough space and square footage in this particular facility that he can use to service these two stores.
Understood. Thank you. Could you talk specifically to the, because it's not allowed by right in the district from what I see on the application, is there an application underway currently to secure the special use permit that's required for that use in this space?
The site plan has been rezoned. We went through zoning Board of Appeals last month, and it's now a D5. It was approved.
Could I just seek clarification from that, either from Commissioner Blau, who sits on the ZBA, or from staff, because I know that for rezoning, that usually goes through the Planning Commission itself. So is this a variant of some sort, or what's the means by which that technical obstacle has been addressed?
I think the term he meant was the use variance. It wasn't rezoned, but it received a use variance for D5 uses.
What Corey said.
That was Commissioner Blower and Corey. And Commissioner Blower, I believe you said you just co-signed what Corey had said is a use variance, not a rezoning.
Correct. I was going to chime in there, but Corey got to it first. It came before ZBA last meeting, and it was unanimously passed for that use variance.
Very good.
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. Commissioner Jordan.
Thank you. So I think that resolves the question I had around the special use permit. I did have questions that there's a number of different items on the site plan checklist that are marked in the no category in terms of the site plan not containing the information. As a few examples, there's number 15, any anticipated increase in dust, odor, smoke, fumes. Page 8, or actually number 18, front, rear, and side yard requirements for the zoning district. The site is located. Also numbers 29 around existing and proposed utilities, 32, 33, 34. Can you please address those?
Regarding the utilities?
No, if you would start with 15 on your site plan, Mr. Fine, I think that would do with the anticipated increase in dust, odor, smoke, noise, lights. I think you said something about the lights in it or other objectable features. If you start with 15 and go right down, we can deal with those in order.
Okay, I don't have the list in front of me.
Okay. 15 deals with the anticipated increase in dust, odor, noise, smoke, lights, and other objectable features.
Nothing is going to change on the site. There will be no dust or increase of noise at the property.
18, front and rear and side yards requirements for the zoning district. The site is located, where the site is located. You got that?
The dimensions are on the site plan. And if you look at SP 1.1, it does show it's greater than 25 feet.
Mr. Jordan, did you find that on there?
Oh, not
Well,
as
but
yet.
better good. I guess I can go to Corey. Corey, on 18, your review of the site plan, did you see? I'm looking now. I cannot. And I don't have a big desk in front of me. Corey, are you there?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. We're looking at number 18 on the checklist.
Okay, I don't have the checklist in front of me because I'm at home.
It says the front and rear and side yard requirements for the zoning district. The site plan, it says the site is located, and it got a check mark in the no box. It says that this information does not appear to be provided. And the applicant said it is provided. On that site plan, and I can't, in my hasty looking for it, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't recall if it was there. I don't think it's marked on the site plans, but if you find it, then that should be in the yes column.
It is on the site plan. The distance from the rear parking is 49'8".
Where is that again on what?
On SP 1.1.
Oh, SP 1.1, okay. All right, I'm here, I'm there. Mr. Jordan, you see it? I think I found it.
There's dimension on the side.
Yep.
And one on the rear. Rear of the building.
88, 49, 30 west. I found it.
I'll ask a
Go ahead.
clarification to staff. So when we're looking at number 18 there, an expectation is that front, rear, and side yard requirements for the zoning district the site is located. So for staff, are you looking specifically for what the requirements of the district are?
Yeah, I apologize for that. I misunderstood. Item 18, there should be, it should list what's in the zoning code. So it should say in this zoning district, the setback requirements are blank. And then it should eventually also say, but the actual setbacks we're proposing are blank so that we can do a comparison. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. I just wanted to be sure I was understanding your intention correctly.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. All right. Can we move on?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. I had the similar list. If we could go back to number 15, where the applicant noted that it would not be occurring. However, on the checklist, it says, please provide a statement with this information. So before we move on, I just want to double check. Did staff get a statement regarding that information?
I don't recall, Bill. Did we get anything?
No, we didn't get anything from the applicant.
Okay.
Mr. Fine, could you provide a statement, something I think I can review.
Would you like it in writing? Or do you want me to say it right now?
This is Commissioner Jordan.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. As we've normally done in the past, we always, anytime there's information missing, we always focus on written statements and follow up.
I can provide a written statement. I can email that to you in the morning.
Yeah, just email.
Mr. Chair, I think we're moving a little bit ahead. We're just going through where we're at with each of the items, and then we can decide accordingly.
Okay. Commissioner Jordan, you were saying?
Yeah, I think at this point, I was just trying to go through the checklist and make sure that there was clarity on what the expectation is for each. And then depending on, what we determine and what the answers to those questions are, maybe we, in some cases we've had updated site plans, or, that there could be various paths forward. I don't want to assume that none of the updated information has been provided, but I know typically we would expect, for example, the statement about no objectionable noise or odor, et cetera, that's actually a statement on the site plan itself. And so all of these things are stuff that, according to the standard, would typically be on the site plan themselves. So I'm just trying to establish kind of what is or is not on the site plan itself based on the checklist that we've got in front of us.
Okay. So we'll move on. We'll leave that one. And then we move to 29. That's on the site plan? Or is clarification was made on that one?
What is 29, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think we passed 18, but that 18 was on the site plan.
No, I think for
That
18,
says
Yep, sorry, it's not.
18 is not on the site plan?
Yeah, the 18 is where we're looking for, it should be placed on the site plan, what the required setbacks are, not what the actual setbacks are. So that's what was missing.
Oh,
What the requirement set plans are. So Corey, what do we need there? We need something to say.
Yeah, it can just be a copy and paste from the ordinance. It just should be on there saying in this district, front yard setback must be blank, side yard setback must be blank. And then we use that and we compare it with what the actual setbacks are to ensure compliance.
Okay. Can do that. Okay. Now 20. Please provide this information. On 29, we got location of all existing and proposed utilities.
correct.
What is, Corey, can you give me clarification on that one? What should they provide? That's on the site plan though. The utilities, all the existing utilities and stuff that's there.
If it's there, then that should be in the yes column. If water and sewer are provided, then it should be marked yes.
The sewer is there, the drain, all the storm drain lines are there.
All right.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. Just for a clarification from staff, in the checklist, it's not there, and it says, please provide this information. If it is there, if staff could clarify what the discrepancy is.
I believe that was an error on my part. If the water and sewer are provided, then that information has been provided, and it should be marked yes.
Okay.
And 32, existing driveways within 200 feet of the site. That'd be the same driveways that was there when Target was there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I believe the driveways from across the street, everywhere around the parcel within 200 feet, I don't think the driveways were provided.
Okay. But those are the same driveways that was there. Target was there, and the rest of TJ Maxx and all of them, the same ones that was there. You should have on your site plan number 33, the dumpster pad location and screening details.
No, the Target did not hit, I think they had an interior trash disposal, and this is also going to be interior.
Interior. Okay. All right, that was 32 and 33. Mr. Jordan, do you have any other, did I miss any one of those?
I think the checklist items, I guess I would just clarify, it looked like that the fire department had a question regarding the ownership of the existing fire hydrant.
Sorry, that I can't help you with.
Ownership. That would be a city. Either Suzanne or Corey, you happen to know who owns the fire hydrant? I would say the city does.
I don't know who the ownership is.
Okay. Traffic engineering. I see that Suzanne, who we get clarification from on that?
I think the question is what the relevance of that is. And so in terms of the ownership, and this is an assumption, I would assume it would be the city, but I would really defer to Bill and Court. Pardon? Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought someone said something.
No.
I would defer to Bill and Corey as to what the specific issue is related to. So the fire hydrant, I'm sorry, the fire department's question regarding ownership of the fire hydrant. What is the relevance of that to the site plan? And I would ask Bill and Corey to clarify that as it relates to a deficiency on this checklist.
I believe this is a comment from the fire department, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not a deficiency on the checklist. I think we would have to follow up and ask the fire department what the relevancy is.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this is Commissioner Campbell. Was that the same thing for number 2? Because under number 2, on that same page, it says there's concerns about the building and safety division. Did anyone address anything with the building and safety division has with this property? Have they been addressed and satisfied? Met compliance? On number 2?
On number 2.
Same page.
I'm looking at this sheet which says site plan review routing sheet. Is that on the routing sheet?
It's under, I think Commissioner George just talked about number 1.
Yeah, so there's
about
several.
the fire hydrant.
We should be looking at the fire marshal's comments.
Correct.
That's the last page on that sheet.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
And number 2, it says the fire department requests that the concerns that the building and safety division has with the property are addressed and met satisfactory compliance. So did that also take place? That was a concern for the fire department.
Would that go to Corey or Suzanne or Bill? Bill?
Yes, it was, or Corey.
Savannah Cook? Are you there?
Suzanne, did you want to answer that? Would like me to the best of my ability for the commissioners?
So the, I can answer and then Bill can expand, but
Sure.
so the plans are routed to different departments. They review them and they make comments on them. For this project, specifically building and safety inspections, has been working with planning and zoning on this project to try and address, several of their concerns. As far as their issues, I believe that we have resolved those issues, but I would defer to Bill and Corey if there are any other building issues that are still outstanding that have not been resolved. I do not believe so. We just provide comments to you as part of, transparency. These are the comments that every division has reported to us, and then we work to try and address them. We provide those comments to the applicant so that they can address them. For building and safety inspections themselves, I think the fire department also talks to BSI, and so they just want to make sure that BSI's concerns or issues are addressed. And I would defer to Bill and Corey to identify whether they have been addressed for this particular site plan.
It is my understanding that the concerns have been addressed, but Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not at City Hall every day.
No, I would agree. And one of the main concerns, I believe, the original site plan showed a door on target that went out from the south side towards the westerly part of the building. And so there was a concern with that door. That door is not on this plan now, so it's not a part of the site plan. So I think it's been addressed. And furthermore, I know that the city building department won't issue a building permit unless they're compliant. So with code.
Can I make a comment? Stuart Fine, make a comment. We have addressed that originally because the property line is right at that door, and you're really not allowed by code to exit across the property line. So we've eliminated the exit lights, so that those doors are not exit ruled as an exit, and we're providing new exits out the rear
Okay.
to accommodate the missing exit.
Okay. Other questions from the commission? There's 3 and 4 down there. If one of the commissioners want to.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Jewell. I just wanted to follow up on the checklist. If you go to page, make sure I get the right page. Go to page 7, which is supplemental regulations. You'll notice at the top of the checklist, Article XX25, off-street parking. It says there's a question mark on whether it's completed or not. It says shared parking cannot be verified.
I can speak to this if the commission needs clarification on what the concern is.
Okay.
The concern is that this is part of a larger strip mall all on the same parcel. And I assume that it meets all the parking regulations, but without knowing the status of all the tenants and the uses, we cannot verify that there's enough parking for every tenant in the strip mall.
Okay, because if you go just hang on to that one, because if you go to section 50-132, off-street loading spaces, there's also a question mark where it says loading spaces must be indicated on the site plans.
Correct.
Mr. Fine, has that, right,
It has been located. It's where the loading dock is.
right. That's my understanding. So, Corey, regarding the question mark on that.
Sounds like another error on my part. If there's a loading dock, then that would be sufficient.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, if we go down page 7, and this goes back to you, Corey, because if we take a look at section 50-133A, there's again questions regarding shared parking cannot be verified. And then if we go down to section 50-136, additions and enlargements, again, there's a question mark regarding new parking calculations are needed for all shared use of the parking lot. And then if you go down to the next one, section 50-137, collective providing of off-street parking, again, it says shared parking cannot be verified. And then if you jump to page 8, where it says parking and loading space requirements. Corey, is that because it's located in a large setting, it can't be verified?
Right. So the first 3 question marks are all the same concern. It's just
okay.
I can't verify.
Right.
Sorry.
Just to build on that point, though, I understand from a staff perspective, you can't verify that because you don't have necessarily information about what future tenants are going to be there. I know there's quite a bit of vacancy at the moment. But would the commission then be able to consider, like, I know previously it was a Target and a Farmer Jack right there, which are 2 pretty high intensity retail spaces.
Right.
And so if the parking was sufficient for those kind of high intensity retail spaces, chances are in all likelihood that a furniture store / warehouse would not be more intensive than what was previously there.
Precisely. And again, that's why I said I assume that they meet the parking regulations. I just cannot confirm it with 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. Again, those were my additional questions for clarification.
All right. So what is the desire of the commission?
This is Commissioner Ryan.
Commissioner Ryan?
I have 2 questions. One on the site plan review comments, and this is to Bill, that they will have further concerns regarding the fire protection system as further plans become available. So does that mean that as of now, your sprinkler system, the protection plan is adequate, or it has not been done yet, or it is going to be monitored? Question number 1. And number 2, the concerns of basically piling furniture up as storage, has agreement or some note of that been given or have an understanding?
Commissioner Wesley, to Commissioner Ryan, if you don't mind.
Okay.
The building department with code, it's their responsibility before they permit a building. It's my understanding to ensure that that's adequate, following their code. So as Corey mentioned before, this is a site plan review, and the building department, I believe, is their responsibility to ensure that that sprinkler system and code as far as stacking is followed correctly.
I think that goes back to building inspection, and I don't know if it's, yes, brought to our concern, but I think before any type of permit is issued, they have to meet those specifications. So I don't know if that should be one of our worries right now.
Right.
Well, that's my question. Is it to be continued? Is it in progress? as the question was, so it's adequate right now, but it's going to be monitored.
Commissioner Ryan, this is Bill Vandercook again, through Commissioner Wesley. That's correct.
All right.
Okay. And the second question on the storage and inventory.
That's going to be, again, monitored through code, through the building department, before the building is permitted.
Before they get a permit to open.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission to the applicant?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Sorensen, I just would like to know, how many employees are they anticipating? at
They
this
are,
location?
this is Omar Razak. They are anticipating about 50 employees in this facility.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commission to the applicant? Okay, hearing none. What is the desire of the commission? Maybe I should open up for discussion.
Mr. Chair, I would put forth a motion to get the conversation going here. I would move conditional approval of SPR 20-937 for their site plan with administrative review for the checklist items, number 15, which related to needing a statement on the site plan about any increase in dust, odor, smoke, fumes, etc. Also needing to be on the checklist, the zoning district requirements regarding setbacks and what those proposed setbacks are. Including on the site plan, the existing driveways within 200 feet. And let's see, was there anything else? I think those were the ones.
So that'll be 15, 18, and 32?
Correct.
Can I make a comment? This is regarding the driveways. The nearest driveway is that car lot now, and it is shown on the drawings.
Actually, all the driveways that come in and out of this strip plaza or this center is shown on the SP 1.1.
For clarity, it's all driveways within 200 feet of the parcel. So we're looking for the driveways adjacent to the parcel, not the ones on the parcel.
Yes, but 200 feet is it's to get to the street from the property line, because this property is isolated. Really, it's over 200 feet.
So across South Center Road, there's several driveways.
But that's over 200 feet from the site. From the property.
Okay, we'll confirm that later. I'm not so sure.
I would think so. If you look from Center Road, where it used to be Bob Evans, that entrance there, which is now a car lot, is, I'm sure, farther than 200 feet back to that Target store, which now is going to be Ashland Furniture.
Right, but the entire strip mall is part of one parcel.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, what about on Lapeer?
Those are the two entrances on Lapeer is over 200 feet from that.
The last one, right next to the front.
From this location.
Yeah. And so if I could just reiterate, this is Commissioner Jordan, that you know, it's to make sure that the ordinance standard is met. So the ordinance standard is to include driveways within 200 feet of the parcel, not the building itself, but the actual property of the land, to make sure that that meets with administrative approval, so staff can verify that those requirements are
Yeah.
in place.
It does meet the set, it's more than 200 feet to the property line for this building. This building has a property line separate from the shopping center, from the rest of the shopping center.
Right.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Joe. I'd like to go back to the motion that was made.
Well, the motion hasn't been completed yet, I don't think.
No, it was, no, it wasn't.
My main concern was that there was a couple of conditions or follow-ups for the administrative review. I'd like to add just another one if Commissioner Jordan is comfortable with that. And that's just a statement of clarification that I think Corey addressed this evening regarding the verification of the parking. I'm pretty sure some appropriate wording can be made.
So this is Commissioner Jordan. So I'd be comfortable, you know, adding to my motion just I guess the finding or the
the finding regarding the parking concerns.
Although we understand that staff is unable to verify the availability of shared parking, that we find based on the previous use of the site that was
Correct.
ample to serve even the most intense retail uses, that the existing parking on the site is sufficient for the proposed project.
For the new use. And I don't know, I don't think that's something that has to be included in for administrative review. You know, I think it's been cleared during our discussion and will be clear in our minutes that that was something that was looked at. And from the previous look, I don't know if that needs to be there.
I'm Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. I'm comfortable with that. I just wanted to make sure that we're addressing the items that were on the checklist.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Jordan, are you for your motion, have you completed your motion as a conditional approval for administrative review for 15, 18, and 32? Is that?
Correct. And it may be that if staff is able to go back and look at what the applicant is saying, they can, maybe there's no need for further 200 feet, but I'd like that, since it's on our checklist, to at least be examined and staff can have a chance to double check that.
We will with the applicant.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a support for the motion?
Commissioner Blauer, support.
It's moved and properly supported. A conditional approval of site plan SPR 20-937, Ashland Furniture, J&S Group, requesting a site plan review at 3701 Lapeer Road. Conditional approval with administrative review on 15, 18, and 32. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Blauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Jewell,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen, Commissioner Sorensen, Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Wesley.
Yes. Where did Commissioner Sorensen go?
I'm here. I'm sorry. I was muted.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. All right. It's been approved conditionally with administrative review. Moving on.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone, and we will be taking care of the items that was brought up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next item on our agenda is case review. None. that correct? Public hearing. Public hearing for PC 20388 has been postponed. Do we have a date for the postponement? Suzanne?
To November 20,
Yep.
sorry, this is Bill Vandercook, to November 24th.
To our next regular scheduled meeting?
That's correct, Commissioner Wesley.
Okay. All right. Next is reports. Miss Attorney Kelly Thompson, status of the permanent marijuana ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson. Oh,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
this is Commissioner Campbell. You said you would explain when we got to H, because that was postponed Curtis City.
right.
What's the explanation?
Commissioner Wesley,
Oh,
Bill
the
Vandercook.
explanation is that they didn't get public notice out timely.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No problem.
This is Thompson.
My bad.
no problem.
Okay.
Again, Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson. I don't have much of an update as far as the status of the permanent ordinance. We are looking for it to be added to the agenda, and the last extension of the emergency ordinance is set to expire on Christmas Day. So hopefully sometime before then, we can have the proposed permanent ordinance considered as opposed to doing another extension. So I'm working with Suzanne and our Chief Legal Officer, Angela Wheeler. We're all working to achieve that before Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry early Christmas. That would be my gift to the commission.
Oh, God.
We'll
All right.
accept it.
Because it's been out
We
there.
would like to accomplish that before Christmas for sure.
All righty.
Yeah.
Okay, next is Suzanne on the draft zoning ordinance and the capital improvement.
No updates really, except for I do see, as I shared with Chairman Wesley and Commissioner Jordan on Friday, I do see some positive movement on the zoning code. I would also, just related to that, I know I didn't amend the agenda for this, but would like to introduce our new lead planner. He is on this call tonight, and his name is Jeffrey Schiffman. So I know it's kind of weird doing everything virtually, but I do have some confidence that we're going to be able to start bringing the zoning code forward to council. We had having a lead planner, having a zoning coordinator, as I shared with you before, those are two key positions, and they've impacted our ability to really finalize this code. And there has been some forward movement from council indicating some interest in bringing this code forward. So we are having conversations and talking about bringing it forward potentially in December, even at the same time simultaneously with the permanent marijuana ordinance. So I do think that is something that we're working towards. There's one piece, as I shared again with commissioners on Friday, one piece related to formatting that we're working out right now in terms of just putting the user-friendly guide into ordinance format, something I'm working on with law. Hope to see some movement on that relatively quickly. But regardless, I know Kelly was going to talk to Angela about this. We think, pending further communication from the law department, that we could bring the ordinance forward in its current format while we contract with someone to put it in ordinance format. So I think that there's some positive movement on this, and we're hoping to bring it forward, I think possibly as soon as December. So that is good news. And then Jeffrey, he and I have talked about some of the priorities. That is absolutely one of the priorities. The other high priority project is the capital improvement plan. As I said, I've reached out to Eric Scorsone for last year's plan. I reached out to him again today, and I am going to reach out again tomorrow, just for purposes of updating, but I have provided the last capital improvements plan that was completed and approved by the Planning Commission to Jeffrey, and that is one of his high priority items as well. So this year we do expect to have a capital improvements plan to present to you. And then the third thing that's not on this agenda, but like to start talking about it again, is the update to the master plan, which we know we are out of compliance with. There was supposed to be an update 5 years from the original in 2018. There should have been an update. So that's another item that we'd like to start talking to the Planning Commission about how we can achieve that. And that is also something we briefly spoke about, Jeffrey and I, but that is something that is going on the list as a high priority item too. So I know this is a virtual meeting. You can't see Jeffrey, he can't see you, but he is on this call, and I'd like to welcome him and introduce him to you. And we're really expecting some things to start moving forward.
Suzanne, you get the opportunity to, the next item, you also have the status of staffing. So you're going to introduce Jeffrey again and someone else, as I understand it, and I'll let you take that over, and then I'll talk to Jeffrey, because we got to get an understanding, because I understand he's from Ohio.
I know. I did get clarification on that. I do apologize. I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda right in front of me right now, so I apologize for bringing that up. I forgot that was on there, and I wanted to get it in, so I took that opportunity. But status of staffing, I just mentioned Jeffrey Schiffman. I will, he can confirm this, but I did clarify that he is not a Buckeye. So for you, Commissioner Wesley,
okay.
I think we resolved that issue.
Commissioner Blauer was tuning up too, so I was gonna get mine in first.
No, I didn't go to Ohio State. Possibly worse, I went to Notre Dame.
Okay. Well, we don't pay y'all for another 14 years, so I'm good with that.
The plot thickens.
Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail, oh, sorry.
All right.
Brave to do that after the last couple weeks of football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I tell you what,
Right.
it ain't been good. Michigan has been having a problem.
Whereas Notre Dame beat #1, I'm sorry. I'll stop
Yes.
talking now.
So those
Okay.
those are
Yep.
two updates related to staffing. So our lead planner, excellent news for us. I'll have Jeffrey, if that's okay with you, say a few words. Also wanted to share with the commissioners that we also have a zoning coordinator, Bill Vandercook, has been hired as our zoning coordinator. So 2 positions in planning and development have been filled, and I shared with the commissioners Friday that HR is working very quickly to fill positions. So they are posting Bill's former position, the planner 1, I think as soon as this week. And so we're hoping we have some candidates already. So we're hoping to get that backfilled really quickly. And I really appreciate the work that HR has been doing to get us, there has been some transitions in HR. There's some new staff there. They're doing really yeoman's work on getting positions filled. And I'm seeing some light at the end of the tunnel for planning and development. We have interviews Thursday for another position that was vacated by, I mentioned this at the last meeting, one of the CD grant coordinators went to fill the parks planner position. So the CD grant coordinator has been vacant for about 3 weeks, and we already have interviews scheduled. So that's like lightning speed for the city of Flint. So I'm hoping that trend continues. They're posting another position in our building and safety, or another position has been posted in our building and safety inspections division, and they're working on 2 rental inspector positions that will be posted most likely tomorrow. So really good movement on staffing, and I feel pretty good about it. So if it's okay with you, maybe Jeffrey could talk a little bit about himself and his background. Commissioner Wesley, Chairman Wesley, if that is okay.
That is fine. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
So I'm from Ohio. I'm a Cleveland native. Have lived in Michigan for about 10 weeks now. Came up here as a trailing spouse. My wife took a new position in Auburn Hills, So we had to move. Background is primarily in community development and land conservancies. I did a lot of work with land banks in Ohio, both county and municipal, and I worked also for about 7 years for a large land trust in the Cleveland area. My last role was with the city of Cleveland. I was administrator of the city's municipal land bank.
Very good. Very good. Glad to have you aboard. And
Welcome aboard.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you. Okay.
I will just add that Jeffrey has a master's in urban planning. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeffrey.
Yes.
But he also has some law background too. So I think that there's some, there's some good knowledge that is going to come in handy for several of our, he had his first division meeting today with the planning staff, and they were excited to hear how he can provide support in our neighborhood planning initiative, in our parks initiative, and in our Choice Neighborhood project. So we're excited to have him on board and happy to introduce him to you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. Suzanne, thank you ever so much for the tolerance and the diligence and the follow through. Jeffrey, welcome aboard, and Bill, congratulations. Mr. Chair, I think it might be helpful, even though as we get involved, if it would be possible for Suzanne, maybe 1 or 2 small paragraph regarding Jeffrey's background as well as Bill's effort. That will help us to get a good sense of focus areas and so forth.
Sure, I can provide that to you.
Okay.
Just as an update, and maybe even that, but thank you.
Okay.
Yep, I can do that.
Thank
Okay.
you. Next, we go to resolutions. The adoption of the revised City of Flint Planning Commission bylaws. Attorney Kelly Thompson, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay.
To address the commission if they have any questions, or for an adoption. Okay, Attorney Kelly?
Sure.
Okay.
So this is Kelly Thompson, city attorney. We have proposed for you this evening really a wholesale amendment to the Planning Commission bylaws. And we've discussed these in previous meetings, but this was a joint effort with the chair, Commissioner Jordan, Commissioner Blauer, Bill, Casey, and myself. And I'm sure others were involved too along the way. We added a significant amount of provisions to clarify when conflicts of interest arise and how to handle those. And having contact with other members and staff during meetings and when that's appropriate and when not. We added some provisions about voting. And there was a revision to the order of business on the agendas. So I think that's an improvement. I think those were the major areas. So this really just adds a lot of helpful information to members and staff. So if a question ever comes up, then I would encourage everyone to refer first to the bylaws because it might be in there now. We considered other bylaws from the city of Ann Arbor, city of Seattle, the city of Grand Rapids. There may have been one more, but those were the 3 that we were looking at and kind of comparing and cross-referencing. So yes, this is presented to the commission tonight for possible adoption. And I'm happy to take any questions that the commissioners may have.
Any questions from the commission to Attorney Thompson?
Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. Not necessarily a question, but as I shared at our last meeting, and particularly to you, Kelly, and to Bob, and to Elizabeth, and to Carol Ann, and to to Casey and Bill. Extreme appreciation. It really acknowledges a comprehensive review and update, and it's a great outline for both process and procedure, both for us as planning commissioners as well as for staff. And I kind of will share my phrase, it does an excellent job of roles and responsibilities.
Okay. Any other comments that anyone would like to make? I think we made some at our last meeting. You know, Kelly did an excellent job along with Elizabeth and Carol Ann. It was fun. We got a lot, I think we got a lot done. So if there's no other comments, you know, we would we do it in the form of a motion to adopt these bylaws?
Yeah, I think the motion would be to approve a resolution
Yeah,
adopting
approve the resolution,
the proposed bylaws. Yes.
So the chair will entertain a motion at this time, or a resolution to adopt. Well, you know, you heard it.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. I'll make a motion to approve a resolution to adopt the revised City of Flint Planning Commission bylaws as presented.
Commissioner Campbell, second.
It's been moved in second. Did I hear? Oh, Commissioner Blower is going to try to get in there, right? But Commissioner Campbell moved and seconded to approve the resolution to adopt the revised City of Flint Planning Commission bylaws. Any further discussion? Roll.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Blower,
Yes.
Commissioner Jewell,
Yes.
Commissioner Hawkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Wesley.
Yes. That resolution has been approved for the adoption of the City of Flint bylaws. So the next copy you get the draft will be removed and it's official. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I will update the date.
Okay.
That's the bottom of the 8th page, the last page there. That'll be updated, and I'll send a final version to all the members.
Very good. And see, even the dogs approve. They got a yep.
Yes, I apologize.
That's all right.
My husband made a mad dash for their room.
No, that was great. No problem. Old business, bylaw committee. What's that? That's there. I don't know why that's there.
Yeah, we just approved it.
Okay. What about the status of the planning commission membership roster?
So this is Suzanne, thank you. As I spoke with you Friday, I did some work over the weekend to review agendas and minutes from from city council meetings in February, March, and then as I heard from Commissioner Jewell, June. And unfortunately, I was unable to I did find Commissioner Sorensen's resolution. I have that. I have a draft updated roster, but I still need confirmation from the city clerk's office. So I reached out to them again. We do have a meeting scheduled for this Friday, November 13th, to discuss all of the rosters. And I have asked them for copies of resolutions that I was unable to find. Unfortunately, back in February and March, they didn't do. Now what they're doing is they're providing updated resolutions after the council meetings. They did not do that in February and March. So I was unable to locate, or June for that matter. I was unable to locate those resolutions, but Janelle told me today that she will get those to me. So I'm hoping to have them tomorrow. And then we will have a meeting on Friday to discuss all of our. So I think by the end of the week, I should have an updated roster. I hope to have it by tonight. That's not unfortunately the case, but I do expect after our meeting on Friday to be able to provide you with that. So Janelle is working right now to get me those resolutions.
All right. So we should have that by our next scheduled meeting on November 24th.
Yes.
Okay. Planning Commission membership orientation packet. Bill?
I'm actually going to defer to Corey on this one because I know Bill and Corey and I have met on this, and Corey, I think, has a plan. We've prioritized this. I will say this and then Corey can add to it. But they are really working hard to address the backlog of items that have, kind of been assembled, some organizational efficiencies, and that is on their that's on their to-do list. I know Bill provided books. I know the commissioners want to see a binder. My conversation with Corey is that he understands it's a priority, and he will be able to, and he will provide something to the commission in January. Corey, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are trying to address some outstanding items first, and then prioritizing that and being able to provide a binder to everybody by January.
That is correct, and I plea mercy from the Planning Commission to allow us until January to put that together. Our priorities right now are improving internal processes and getting the backlog cleared, and then we'll start putting together that manual for you. I do have a pretty good idea in my head of what it'll look like and the materials involved, but I don't want to promise anything before January.
Commissioner Jordan.
I think that's a reasonable target date. What I was going to hear. Did I hear, Elizabeth, were you saying something?
Yes, I was just going to chime in too. I appreciate the update, and I also appreciate, from Corey and Bill and trying to realize that you have an elephant that you're eating. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to say that, yes, you're going to do it. You have a plan to do it. And that there are some other items that require priority, particularly to improve some of those operational efficiencies. And I'll just say that, if there's anything I can do to be of support with that, I know that Commissioner Jewell and I had already provided some of the suggestions about what might be included, but if there's anything I can do beyond that to aid in those efforts, feel free to be in touch.
Thank you. I will reach out if I do need any assistance. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. I will echo Commissioner Jordan's commentary. Again, thank you ever so much. And I too am available if I can be of any help and support and assistance.
Thank you.
All right. I-475 update. The Suzanne conversation we had on Friday. Was it Friday? By the way, I'm going to be out of town the rest of this. Well, I'll be out of state the rest of this week and the first 3 days of next week. I'm driving my daughter back to New York. So I won't be available if you happen to schedule anything with Brian until the middle of next week.
Excellent information. I will make sure. I was looking at the end of this week. I looked at Brian's calendar and I was thinking potentially Thursday. So that is good information to have. I will not, Thursday is actually that was my plan, but Thursday I'm actually going to be in interviews all day. So looking then to schedule something next week. As I shared with you, Brian is open to that discussion. He's welcome to have it with you. And so I will look towards the end of next week to schedule something with Brian and you, Commissioner Wesley.
That'll be fine. That's all we have, Elizabeth, at this point on 475.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any new business?
Commissioner Ryan,
Commissioner Ryan?
I would like to address the issue of all the new planning commissioners. Do they have their city cards, or what is the status of commissioners having their cards?
City card. What-
Yes, ID
Oh,
cards.
You mean like a business card?
Yes,
Oh,
because usually when you're discussing orientation and booklet, you usually get a small amount that you are a commissioner.
oh, really? Oh,
Mr. Chair, I think, this is Commissioner Campbell. I think the first year I was on the board is the only time we've ever received any cards.
yeah. I'm going.
I'm sorry.
I think I got some of my old employment address on them. I didn't have some of mine.
Actually, Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell.
Yeah.
Back when, which was several years ago, when we were working on the master plan, business cards were put together for each one of us. In fact, I'm looking at the stock of ones that I still have left over here. And it has on one side Imagine Flint, and on the other side it says City of Flint, has my name, 6th Ward Planning Commissioner. One side has information regarding the planning department, and the other side it has my phone number and my email address. So I think Mr. Ryan was making reference to a business card identifying our role and function.
Correct.
Let me further say that those cards came out of that grant, I'm sure.
Right.
That we got for Imagine Flint for our master plan. So I don't know where the funds gonna come from for new business cards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, instead of us looking at it as, I think that'd be an excellent item that Corey and Bill can add to the list of items that be appropriate for appointed officials, and then take a look at avenues to pursue.
Yeah, well, I think Flint City probably have more pressing financial issues than trying to get us business cards.
A business card.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Chair, then and I understand that focus, and if that's the case, then for all officials, then that should probably be applied applicably to all officials for the city of Flint.
We'll put it on our list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Thank
just gonna
you.
say, we'll do some research. We'll do some research to find out what the protocol is for all multiple member bodies. And if that is something that is the practice for those bodies, then we will do some further research. And yes, as Corey said, we'll put
Right.
it on our list and look into it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to do. Look.
Any more new business? Here, before we adjourn, I'd just like to take this opportunity once again to, issue a speedy recovery to April. And I hope she's feeling better. But as it is, we're working from home now, so just continue to get stronger. And to Lynn Sorensen, continue to say, I hope everything is going well with your family too.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I
anything-
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
April,
you. I
really
appreciate
glad to
that.
hear you. Really glad to hear your voice.
Mhm.
Anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn, Commissioner Ryan.
Support.
Hey, thanks everybody.
Campbell.
Okay.
Thank you. Good
Thanks
night.
everybody. Thanks KZ.
Good night.
You
Good
can put us,
night.
Thanks,
you can
Have
put
a
us
good
in the
night.
parking lot now.
thanks everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.